Hey everybody, Chris here, coming to show you some more yard sale and thrift store finds. I know it's been a little while, and at the end of pretty much the last like 6 videos, I've been like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do it more. But it'll probably be true this time, we'll find out. So, we got some new stuff this week. So let's jump over here first. So I went to Goodwill Outlet. I found a few things. I'll show you these games real quick. I was pretty surprised to find this. We got Minecraft for Xbox One. Just in this was the case it was in. Works great. So that was a cool find. Skylanders Giants for Wii. Sega Saturn. They were pulling out new bins. And you kind of line up when you go there. And I was on one side, and then the bin in front of me didn't look too great, and I looked across, and there was the laundry basket, and I saw this sitting in top, and I immediately ran over to the other side. And I was like looking around. The guy next to me didn't seem like the type that wanted it. So I like looked down, and I was like, dibs, and he's like, oh, you want it? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, okay. So nobody fought me on it, thankfully, because some people will fight you on this stuff, and I had 2 people in the next 2 minutes like comment like, oh, I got the Sega, huh? But unfortunately the door's busted on it. I don't even know if I can get it off. Yeah, the hinges are broken, so I probably wouldn't be able to fix it myself. Probably just sell it for parts, maybe get like $10 to $20 out of it. No controllers, no cords, but still a decent find. First time I've ever done this. I saw a guy looking at the bottom of a bunch of little tins or whatever. And I know a lot of those guys look for precious metals, look for like silver and gold stuff. I was like, oh, he's probably looking for silver. He was also a guy that was like, looked like he was grabbing video game stuff. I was like, that's cool. And at this point, my arms were full because there were no carts at Goodwill, so it was really annoying. I had to carry everything in my arms. So I had the Sega. I had those 2 games. I was like, oh, whatever, I'll go look in the bin he was looking at, and I haven't looked in it yet. And I found some silver. So first I found this little tray. It's I already got rid of it. So I went down to like the closest pawn shop, because I don't really know too much about precious metals. It's something I've always wanted to do. If you've seen lately, I've been putting up metal detecting videos. So I figured it was probably just like about time to get into precious metals. So I found a sterling silver like candy tray, as well as it's in here. I've just been storing it in here. It was a candlestick, but this is what's left. This is all I don't know if you'll be able to read it. Yeah, sterling reinforced with cement. So I took it down to the pawn shop because I wasn't too sure about this. I looked it up quickly, and it was like, yeah, they fill it with like cement or rubber or like all this other stuff to weigh it down. And then I just put a tiniest bit of silver on it. I took it down to the pawn shop. I took this and I took the candy tray. I looked up the current price of silver for the day. I think it was like $13.10 per ounce or something like that. But I didn't really have a price in mind when I got there. I just like wanted to ask a ton of questions about it. So that's basically what I did. They tested it. The tray was sterling. This was sterling, but he said he wasn't interested because of the because it was filled. I had already broken it in half in hopes to dump out the stuff, but I couldn't do it. He said to get a can opener. I got one, but it didn't really come to that because it was overlapped. So it was pretty easy to get off once I'd like broken it. But yeah, I'd weighed that. That's 25 grams. I think that comes out to like $12 to $13 like the day I looked it up of scrap silver. But yeah, the little tray I got, they gave me $20 for it. I think it probably was worth around 40. But honestly, I just wanted to ask him a ton of questions, and I feel like I learned a little bit. Like, I don't know if it's $20 worth of knowledge, but again, it's a pawn shop. They probably would have only gave me like 25, 30 if I pushed for it. But yeah, I was pretty happy. He told me the can opener trick. I managed to get this off. He also said, like, for crappy silver stuff like this, just to like get a bunch of it, get a hammer, and just like pound it all together instead of like bothering, because I have all these like little tiny scrap bits that like fell off, but like that's still sterling silver. So yeah, so I was pretty excited about that. But yeah, let's get on to the other stuff. So like in the future, I won't immediately pawn the stuff. I'll hold on to it and kind of like accumulate it. But yeah, so that's that. That was pretty cool. Kind of got me jazzed about like doing more metal detecting as well. If you've seen the 2 videos I have, it's all clad coins, and I did find a little tiny piece of gold jewelry that was like 10 karat. I haven't gotten that checked out. I was gonna probably do the same, accumulate it until it's like worth it, and then get rid of it. But yeah, let's move on. So we got a Blossom pop figure. I'd kind of gotten out of pop figures mostly because all the ones I found were pretty much worthless. But Blossom seemed to go for at least 10, $11 still. Paid $3 at Goodwill. Took off. I forget if it was 5 or 10% that day. Depended how much I'd spent. But yeah, I got that. Got a Dr. Pepper 10 hat. I think that was at Savers. Still picking up hats here and there. I mostly pick up ones that I think if you watch my other videos, it's like the kind of like higher end brands or the hipstery brands. But also Soda does decently, but it's like a regular Mountain Dew, a regular Pepsi hat doesn't do great because they're sold regularly. But one of my past videos, I had a Mountain Dew Supernova hat that ended up selling for like 25 or 30. Dr. Pepper 10, less popular, still worth picking up because I don't even know if they still make Dr. Pepper 10. And then yeah, moving on. Dark Knight's Metal traded hardcover book. I think I paid $2 at Savers for that. Or there might have been a Goodwill find. I can't quite remember, but it looks like it goes between like 15 and $20. I did pick it up to offer it to a friend that really likes Batman, but he's actually scaling down his comics, but still worth it. I'll actually probably read it first. I do like Batman. I don't get too into like DC and Marvel comics because it's too much at a certain point. I always want to know everything about something, so if I dive too deep, it's rough. So like pretty much the only Marvel comics I end up reading is Marvel Zombies because it's like its own contained universe. Except when they go to other universes, but like I don't mind that as much. But yeah, then up here we get a Sega Pico. Last few videos, I think I showed you some Pico games I picked up, but I didn't have a Pico to test them with. This is the third one I think I've ever picked up. Tested all those games; they all worked great. This one works great. It is missing the. I'll show you the little whoop. Oh yeah, it probably came with a few. Actually, I think this is the only game it came with. But missing. There's usually a yellow pad here, but it doesn't. You don't need it for use. Behind that, we got Yahtzee Folio. It's probably $2 or $3 at Savers. That'll go for like 30, 40. Copy of Ingenious. It's one of the older ones. I think this one goes for about 30, 40. Picked up Imhotep. That actually looks like a fun game. I'm not sure if I'll hold on to it. I might like give it a go before trying to get rid of it, but that looks like it's about 35. Under that, there's a lot of competition at this Savers. This guy, he was using price charting to look at video games. I managed to like swipe out a few from like right in front of him, and then he was like walking away, and I was like, oh, he's headed to the electronics next. I ran over there. There were like some Xbox controllers that didn't look great. I left them. Ran over to the board games while he looked at the controllers I just looked at. And then I think this was the only thing I managed to grab out of there was Monopoly Indiana Jones. Comes in this cool crate. Looks like it's about like 40 to 50 on that open. But he sounded like he was cursing me out because I think he was looking up everything. I had another game in my hand. Maybe it was Imhotep. I can't quite remember. Or Yahtzee, but he was looking it up and he was like muttering, and I was just like trying to ignore him, trying not to like start anything. But yeah, it's just like a reminder there are other people out there like constantly trying to get stuff, and like thankfully he was just grumbling and like looking at games I already looked at. But like some people like say stuff to you and it's like super rude, but I just try to ignore it. because it's a store. Like they don't own the stuff. And like I got there first, so just keep that in mind. If like everyone's ever giving you trouble, just be like, should have got here faster. I don't know, but yeah. Moving on, we got Flux the board game. I picked that up, and I picked up a copy of Exploding Kittens. That's already gone. I got like 14 or 15 for that, and I only paid 2. Flux here, I paid I think $2.99, and I'm not sure how much it'll go for it. I had a new copy for forever ago. That went for like 32, I think, when I looked it up. So there are none available on Amazon right now. I'm hoping it'll go for more. I think I put it up for like 40 or 50. I might lower it down into the 30s, so I'm not really sure how much that will go for. Because like I said, a new copy went for 32, and that was like a year or two ago. So I'm really not sure. But under that is Pirates of the Caribbean Pirates Dice. This is one that fluctuates in price like crazy. I'd recommend just, if you have a copy, just keep it high. Because I think it's popular enough that people buy through it. So this one just sold for 50. I think I was the only one on the listing too. Sorry if you come to watch this stuff for just the haul. I know I'm talking a lot about money this episode, but it's just like a reality of having to pick this stuff up. Like I managed to keep the cool things, but then I also like need to sell a lot of this. But yeah, let's move on. Got an Xbox 360. That was 35. I wouldn't normally pay 35, but it had a network adapter on the back. But unfortunately, like it would recognize the network, but it would not connect to the network. Like I would put in my password, it would ask for the WEP, but I have a WPA password, and I would manually put in the network and the WPA instead of giving it the WEP, but it just would not work. I was wondering if it was the Xbox or the network adapter, but I did manage to find this other black network adapter at Goodwill. I was testing them both at the same time. This one connected to the network, connected to Xbox Live, and the other one wouldn't. So this one turned green. The other one was red and would flash green for a second. So if you happen to know the solution to that, please let me know. But I'm thinking it might just be a hardware failure. I'll probably just try and sell it. Probably get a couple bucks for it. Next to that, we got a Guitar Hero Warriors of Rock. Xbox 360 controller. That just sold for 90. I usually pick up a lot of these controllers. I don't usually put them in the video because they're big and annoying. And it's just one of those items I pick up so much, and I've shown in the early videos that I don't bother anymore, but I figured I'd show you that because you don't see the Warriors of Rock controller very often. But yeah, that sold for 90. I paid 4 or 5 at Goodwill, but it had clear blue battery damage, which is often it often just won't work. But I managed to clean it up, and it worked great. There was a little bit of blue around the start button too, so I didn't notice that till I'd already bought it. So I was really worried, but I managed to clean it up. Works great. $90. So even when you see battery damage in something, it's still sometimes worth the risk, especially if it's super cheap. Like below $5, like I'll risk the $5 because a lot of the times people will still buy these for parts for $5. So at minimum, it becomes like a wash. So yeah, next to that, we got Star Wars Chess. This is a newer copy. I wasn't gonna look it up, but because a lot of the new Star Wars stuff, it's super cheap. Like I ended up getting Risk for Christmas like last year or something, and then looked up how much it goes for, and I think it was like $12. But chess, I know to look up chessboards because a lot of the time they're low print runs and people really like to collect it. So this one actually had an extra Boba Fett figure. I did not look at the other figures to make sure like it has one of each of the other ones it's supposed to. Hoping it does. Goes for about 40 open. I think it went for about 60 new because I think they did a quick print and then it was gone. So yeah, moving on. Really cool things. We'll start with Voice of the Mummy. This is an old Milton Bradley game. It's one of those electronic ones. I'd never heard of it. Never seen it before. Looks pretty cool. Like even the box is like, it's like a half box to kind of like look like a sarcophagus, I guess. And you use the bottom of the box for the game as well. Yeah, that I was just gonna walk by it, but then I was like, oh, old electronic games sometimes are really sought after, like Tornado Rex. That's not that old. Kind of like Fireball Island isn't exactly electronic, but just these old big box Milton Bradley games are good to look at. I looked, complete working copies were going for like $200 to $300. Parts copies were going for like 50, and this was $2.99 at Savers. So I think everything is there, but there's a lot of battery leakage in the battery compartment. I don't have I think it's D batteries. I don't have any right now, so I'm gonna have to order some, probably off Amazon or whatever, and clean up the inside. Thankfully, it's not blue, it's not green, it's not like that rusty. It just sometimes it just looks like somebody poured paint. Like, I don't know if that's like older batteries kind of leaked differently than newer ones. I'm not really sure, but I think it'll work. I just need to get the batteries to find out. If not, still probably get $50 out of it. Yeah, big box Milton Bradley games, definitely look for them. And then here, I wish I turned it around, but we got like a woodboard Monopoly game. It did have an elastic on top, and I think it's snapped, and I think it's underneath. But yeah, I guess I can open it up now. So it's Monopoly board on one side and a Clue on the other, but then it also has all this other stuff. It's got cribbage, checkers, playing cards. I'm not really sure what those other dice are for. But yeah, that was pretty cool. It has this drawer. It's got the Clue figures. It's got dominoes. The chess pieces are in there. And yeah, I think there might be something underneath the other trays. Oh yeah, there's a checkerboard under the other trays. So yeah, I know to look at wooden boards. I think in one of the past 5 or 6 videos, I found a smaller version of this, basically. That ended up selling for 60 or 70. This one looks like it goes for about $200 to $250. Definitely a great pickup. It does have like some scratches, some cracks. I think I'll probably be on the lower end, probably like 180 to 200. Definitely gonna be a pain to ship, but I paid 20 minus, I think it's 10%, because at Goodwill, once you get to $20, it becomes a 10% discount. But yeah, I was very happy to have found that. Got Stratego Legends. That was only $3.99 or $2.99 at Savers. This one used to go for a little bit more, but it's back to the cheaper end. So like $20, $30 on that. Under that, we got Risk Halo Legendary Edition. I think I just sold a copy before Christmas for like $35, $40, and I'll probably stick around like around that range now. Go back to the middle. Get a PS1. That was $10 at Goodwill. Came with 2 controllers, the matching one, and just like a random third-party no stick controller. Got the network adapter I'd mentioned earlier. That was $5 at Goodwill. Got a PS3 controller. It's a little gross. It's one of the 6-axis ones that does not have DualShock. So that was, I think that was that was $2.99. I just ripped it out of the bag. Those go for about like $25, $35. And then below that is a PS2 controller. I don't usually pick up PS2 controllers. They do go for like an okay amount if you get enough of them, but usually they're broken, so I haven't bothered risking it. But this one looked great except for the dust on the sticks. I haven't tested it yet, but it'll go for about 20. Like the colored ones go for a bit more than the black ones, so it was worth the risk. Got some Wii controllers, $3.99 Savers. Only picked it up because there's a Wii Motion Plus controller. I actually might hold on to it. I have a Wii U. I have a black controller, white controller, and like the Mario one. So I might hold on to that. And then just 2 regular ones that have rechargeable battery packs, which I'll probably just throw out. But yeah, definitely worth it. I think the red one goes for about 20 to 25 still. Got an iPod. This was $9.99 at Savers. I think I already sold it for $70. It's a 2 gig. Got a GPS. This was $1. I keep meaning to test it, but I haven't. But I think this is only like a $20 one. And then a really cool find was this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Blu-ray set. It like is supposed to be a pizza box, pizza stain right there. I looked this up. It can go anywhere from like 50 to like 150. So I guess there's like a really low print run. I think it's kind of weird. They put like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from like 2007 on the front. Like, I think that's even one of the. It says the 4 original movies and TMNT's on there for some reason. I'm not saying it was a bad movie. It just seems weird to include that and whatever. But yeah, first and second movie I always liked. Third one was weird, and TMNT was just okay. And then we'll get to these games. Already got this sold for $11, I think. Tiny Toon Buster's Hidden Treasure. This is $2.99 at Savers. Diablo is $3.99. Go for about $12. Mario Kart Wii. Surprised to find this at Goodwill for only $5. There's a guy looking at the games too, and he's kind of glossed over it. I was surprised. I like had walked away too because he was there for so long. But then I walked back and it was there. So I got Rock Band 3 at. This was one of the ones I grabbed in front of that guy that was like grumbling at me. Haven't tested it out yet. It does have a few scratches, but that'll go for about. I think it still goes for about $20. This game floats around in price so often. I don't know how to like safely say a number because it could be totally different by the time the video gets posted. Animal Crossing City Folk, I also grabbed this in front of him. I think this was $3.99. It's only like a $10 to $12 game. This is another game that floats in price. Sometimes it's as low as like $4, but I don't think it ever goes above $15. Picked up Bully. This is another game I grabbed from that guy, or from in front of him. Tested this. This had scratches, but it works fine. Goes for about $12. Another Savers. Picked up Just Dance 2016 for the trophies. What's annoying is I guess from like Just Dance 2017 and below, they turned off the servers, and there are tons of online trophies in this series. So I'll never be able to get the platinum, but exercise and trophies, I guess. So. And then I also picked up this. This was $2.99 Savers. Bejeweled comes with Zuma and Feeding Frenzy 2. So that's 3 games. I think no platinum or anything, but yeah, I'll hold on for that. I'll hold on to both of those actually. Dark Cloud. I think this was $2.99. This has come down a little bit, I think, because it's on PS4 now. But that I think about $9 or $10. Sealed copy of Sonic Free Riders. I paid $9.99 at Savers. This goes for about $20, but I'll probably have to send it to FBA. All in all, I'll probably make $5. Avengers Battle for Earth. I'd never heard of this, but got this at a Savers a while ago. Actually, I think like 3-4 weeks ago. Paid $2.99. Looks like it's like $15-20. And then same Savers, Kirby's Epic Yarn. I think this goes for about $10-12 as well. And yeah, that was it. So sorry to like ramble on a bit about silver and prices, but yeah, I figured I'd get a little more in depth this time. But yeah, I'm hoping videos will come out at least every other week, because I'll be doing a lot more thrifting, and I will need to keep this area clean. I also just wanted to point out I built myself a desk. I have been flooring it for forever, and figured finally like sit in a chair. But yeah, so yeah, if you like the video, like, subscribe, comment if you know the solution to the Xbox 360 network adapter being red. I looked up videos, but didn't really seem to help at all. See everybody hopefully in just a couple weeks. Bye.